Students, welcome to digital class, and as part of 10th class social studies, today we will be dealing with unit 14, Indian National Movement, Partition 1939 to 1947. In this lesson, you will be learning about the following topics: who will make the British quit India, the popular upsurge. During 1946 and 48, there was lot of distress, political unrest which was at its peak in India. Muslim League and Congress, negotiation for transfer of power, a possible alternative to partition, partition and migrations, assassination of Mahatma Gandhi, integration of states. These are the topics that you will be learning in part 2. In this lesson, you will be learning about the last phase of Indian national movement in India. You also learn the role played by different leaders of India to gain freedom, and you also learn about conditions that existed soon after the World War II ended in the country, and you also learn about how India became free from the British rule. Students, this was very crucial for the Congress and the people of India whether to support the British who promoted democracy in all parts of the world, or to support fascism or Nazism. Let us see the topics in detail. Who will make the British quit India? There were multiple reasons that who will make the Britishers quit India. Is it the Congress party or the Communist party? Communism has just entered into India. Who is going to be successful, whether the Congress or the Communist party? And there are also that whether the Congress is going to be successful in making the British quit India or the Muslim League. There were also doubts whether it was Mahatma Gandhi or Subhash Chandra Bose who will make the British quit India. The British wanted Indian people to support them in the war against Japan. Prime Minister of Britain sent Sir Stafford Cripps to India to try and make a compromise with Gandhi and the Congress. Students, in the World War II, there were two groups. One is Axis powers, or which consisted of Germany, Italy and Japan, and the Allied powers with France, England and USSR. And in the last part of the war, that is in 1945, USA supported the Allied powers, which helped them to win the World War II. So, here the Allied powers of England will be facing Japan in the World War II. Mahatma Gandhi, at the same time, when people were discussing whether to support Japan or the Britain, and there was lot of confusion whether to take the help of Japan to fight the British, or we should stop the Japanese status of Pan-Asianism. Mahatma Gandhi launched Quit India movement in August 1942. The Communist Party of India decided to support the British war effort. Why Communist Party supported the British? Because USSR, the Communist Party, was on the side of Britain to fight the Nazis. The initial victories of Japan against the Americans and Europeans created a strong impression on the people in India. Students, in the beginning of the World War II, Germany was at its might and its victory was at its peak. They used sophisticated artillery and weapons like used submarines to fight the English people, and at the other end Japanese were also fighting with the Britishers and the Allied powers. Germans used sophisticated weapons to fight the English people. At the same time, Japan was also fighting with its might, and it proved that the Allied powers were losing at one point with the Axis powers. The initial victories of Japan against the Americans and Europeans created a strong impression on the people in India. Subhash Chandra Bose wanted to take up the opportunity created by the difficulties of the British. Subhash Chandra Bose wanted to take the help of Japan to fight with the Britishers and make India free, which was not liked by the Congress people and Mahatma Gandhi. Subhash Chandra Bose said that India should take the help of Japanese to throw out the British. He went secretly to Germany and Japan and collected an army of Indian soldiers in 1942. Gandhi did not agree with the plans of Bose. Subhash Chandra Bose led an army of Indian soldiers to fight with the help of Imperial Army of Japan against the British for 3 years. Subhash Chandra Bose made an army called INA, Indian National Army, which is also known as Azad Hind Fauj. Who are these people in this army? They are all the prisoners of war who fought in the war, in the World War, and captured by the Japanese. At one point, it had seemed that Allied powers losing the war. The Allied powers regained control and eventually won the Second War. Students, Hitler was defeated in the World War II in 1942, and this made the world to know that English people have won the World War II. Let us see some of them in the world papers at that juncture. End of the war in Europe, all German forces to surrender, and Victory Day will be celebrated very soon in the countries of Allied powers. Germany offers surrender to Soviet, Britain and US. Soon after the war ended, there was a lot of chaos, problems in India. These problems were upsurge, increasing day by day. That was the period in 1946 and 48. During this time, the following were the problems in India. The soldiers of INA were imprisoned and the British decided to punish them. There was unrest, unhappiness and discontent in different parts of India when the INA trials started. People were restless because of food shortages, rationing of food, high prices, black marketing and hoarding. The year 1946 was a year of strikes and work stoppages in factories and mills in many parts of the country. An agitation started in Bengal by small and poor peasants, and this peasants movement was called Tibaga movement. In Hyderabad, the peasants took up arms to fight against the rulers and their armies. Armed revolt of peasants took place in Travancore. Next topic, students, we will be learning about the negotiation for power between the Congress and the Muslim League. In 1946, elections were held for the provincial governments. The Muslim League won all 30 reserved constituencies in the centre and 442 out of 509 seats in the provinces. Student, the green represents the Muslims in last section. Later on, this only was divided into West Pakistan and East Pakistan. The Muslim League wanted to represent itself as the sole spokesperson of India's Muslims. So, all the Muslims could not speak on behalf of Muslims. The Muslim League wanted to express their opinion. In 1946, the Congress swept the general constituencies. A possible alternative to partition. Muslim League decided to win its demand for Pakistan and announced 16th August 1946 as Direct Action Day. Riots started and violence spread to many parts of northern India. Congress, to stop violence, agreed for dividing the Punjab into two halves, one half with Muslim majority and other with Hindu Sikh majority. In February 1947, Mountbatten replaced Wavell as Viceroy to India. Mountbatten started one last round of talks to find a solution. When talks failed, British India would become freed and would be divided. This is Mountbatten on screen, last Governor General or Viceroy of India. He was the one who signed the last act, that is Indian Independence Act. The formal transfer of power from British government to Pakistan would be done on 14th of August 1947 and to India on 15th August 1947. Students, when India was divided into two, Pakistan and India, there were lot of problems which took place. Due to the migration and the partition, there was lot of suffering in the whole parts of the country. Let us see what happened due to migration or separation. As soon as Muslim nation Pakistan was created, a painful and unimaginable situation arose for many people. They felt anger and hatred against each other for being forced to move out. Around 1.5 crore people, both Hindus and Muslims, were displaced. 2 to 5 lakh people, both Muslims and Hindus, were killed. Let us see some of the images. You can see people moving. People from India were going to Pakistan, people from Pakistan were coming into India. They were reluctant, but no other go. People staying as refugees. Some became refugees, lived in relief camps and travelled on trains to find shelters. The father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, fasted and did not celebrate on the first Independence Day. Soon after India became independent, there were lot of unrest in India. In another 6 months, a tragic thing happened for India, that is the assassination of a father of a nation, Mahatma Gandhi. Less than 6 months after independence, on the evening of 30th January 1948, Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated. This is the body of Mahatma Gandhi. He was assassinated in the capital, that is New Delhi. This is how the world mourned that Gandhi's death. People participating in the final procession, paying their last rites to the departed leader. Soon after India became independent, there were many princely states and they were having their own sovereign power, but were ruled by Britain. Now, it was a great task for the Indian Union whether to integrate them into Indian Union or to leave them free. There were around 550 princely states in India. As the British were going to withdraw from India, these princely states were going to become independent. Students, outline map of India showing some of the princely states. Most of them were very small. Major among them were Kashmir in ash color, Junagadh, that is in Gujarat, and Hyderabad. The ordinary people of the princely states had become aware of democratic rights and wanted to be part of Indian Union. Sardar Patel, the Iron Man of India, was given charge of this matter in July 1947. He began discussions with the princes about the necessity to join India. The government of the princely states was taken over and the princes were given pension funds called privy purse to meet their personal expenses. Building a modern, self-dependent and equitable nation in India was both a challenge and an opportunity. This is how the newspapers have reported about the integration of Indian Union. Sardar Patel with the Nizam of Hyderabad. Nizam of Hyderabad was reluctant to join Indian Union. So, a police action had taken place in the year 1948 in which Nizam has conditionally surrendered to the Indian Union. Students, on the screen you can see a letter written by a father of a nation to Hitler. Father of a nation believed in non-violent methods in fighting for freedom, whereas Hitler, the dictator of Germany, wanted to prove his identity as a great personality. Nationalistic pride, aggressive nationalism made him to wage war in the World War II. The Treaty of Versailles, which punished Germany, made Hitler to take revenge on Allied powers. So, in order to stop this war, Mahatma Gandhi wrote a letter to Hitler stating that it was only Hitler who can stop the war and put an end to the war. It was a mere suggestion and request from the father of a nation to Adolf Hitler. There are many causes for the Indian national movement. Prominent among them are introduction of English education, draconian laws passed by the British rule, inception of INC, that is Indian National Congress. It was the Indian National Congress which has given their opinion on behalf of all the Indians to fight with the British rule. Students, in the World War I, Britain was very successful and it had the help of USA in the end. The same thing took place in the World War II. In the beginning, Britain was fighting with the Germany and there was such a juncture that Britain was about to lose the war. But somehow Germany was defeated with the help of Soviet forces, and in the year 1942 Hitler died, and it was in the year 1945 to stop the world war, USA has to enter into the war. In the World War II, Britain was very successful in the last part of the war. In the beginning, it had lot of problems facing the Nazi army. With the help of the Soviet Union, Britain was gaining lot of victories in most parts of the European nations. In the end of the World War II, with the help of USA, Britain, the Allied powers were very victorious. It was in the year 1945 when Japanese bombarded the fleet of US naval ships. USA ventured or entered into the World War II, dropping bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This has put an end to the World War II. Soon after the World War II, many countries became independent, but India could not become independent because we were split into two, and Pakistan was asking for a separate nation, and Congress could not address their opinion or their problems. So, there were many talks between the Congress and the Muslim League which were resulted into failure. At last, the English crown has sent Lord Mountbatten to solve the problem. Though he spoke to most of the people, at last he made a possible solution that India must be divided into two, and that will be an answer for the division. The name Pakistan or Pakistan is derived from Punjab, Afghan, Kashmir, Sindh and Balochistan, which was coined by a Punjabi Muslim student at Cambridge named Chaudhry Rahmat Ali. This young student wrote pamphlets between 1933 and 1935. He desired a separate national state. No one took Rahmat Ali seriously in the 1930s, especially the League and other Muslim leaders who dismissed his idea merely as a student's dream. That is the end of Unit 14, Indian National Movement. Let us do some small activity for a better understanding. Collect pictures or images of freedom fighters and write about 10 sentences about them. The pictures or the persons, freedom fighters, they must not be more than 15 and not less than 10. It is very important that one must know the freedom fighters of India, or you must know the freedom fighters of your own country. Visit the website of SERT and solve the worksheets. That is the end of the lesson, and let us meet in the next chapter. Thank you.
ఆర్టీసీ బస్సు సామాన్యుడి రథం. ఆర్థిక సమస్యలతో సతమతమవుతోన్న సంస్థ. అభివృద్ధి పయనంలో నడిపేందుకు తనదైన శైలిలో కృషి చేస్తున్న ఆర్టీసీ ఎండీ, సీనియర్ పోలీస్ ఆఫీసర్ విసి సజ్జనార్ తన ప్రయత్నాలను TSAT లైవ్ ద్వారా పంచుకోనున్నారు. ఈ నెల 10వ తేదీ గురువారం ఉదయం 10 గంటల నుండి 11 గంటల వరకు TSAT నిపుణ ఛానల్లో జరిగే ప్రత్యక్ష ప్రసార కార్యక్రమంలో ప్రజలు తమ సందేహాలను, సమస్యలను విన్నవించుకోవచ్చు. మా ఫోన్ నెంబర్లు 040-2354-0326, 040-2354-0726, టోల్ ఫ్రీ నెంబర్ 1800-425-4039. ఆర్టీసీ రథచక్రాలను వడివడిగా నడిపేందుకు ప్రభుత్వము, అధికారులు చేస్తున్న కృషిలో మనము భాగస్వాములమవుదాం. సిద్ధంగా ఉండండి. ఫిబ్రవరి 10 ఉదయం 10 గంటలకు.
Experience the unwinding of a 1,000-year-old tribal tradition. Sammaka and Saralamma Jatara on Mahasabha Paurnami. Millions of devotees come together to witness the largest tribal congregation in India. A 4-day festival celebrating the tribal valor of Sammaka and Saralamma. Discover the dance, music, folklore and faith unfurling in its pristine form. Welcome to Medaram Jatra, 16th to 19th February 2022.
భారతీయ పౌరుల ప్రాథమిక హక్కులు. భారత రాజ్యాంగం భారతదేశ పౌరులందరికీ కొన్ని ప్రాథమిక హక్కులు కల్పించింది. హక్కు అంటే అవకాశం, అధికారం కలిగి ఉండడం. ప్రాథమిక హక్కులు పౌరులకు తమ వ్యక్తిత్వాన్ని అభివృద్ధి పరుచుకున్నటకు, బాధ్యత కలిగిన పౌరులుగా హుందాగా జీవించుటకు, ప్రభుత్వ పరంగా చట్టరీత్యా ఇవ్వబడిన స్వేచ్ఛా స్వాతంత్రాలు అనుభవించుటకు కల్పించబడ్డాయి. భారత రాజ్యాంగంలో ఉన్న ప్రాథమిక హక్కులేంటో ఒకసారి చూద్దాం. సమానత్వపు హక్కు. సమానత్వపు హక్కు ప్రకారం చట్టం దృష్టిలో అందరూ సమానులే. వ్యక్తుల మధ్య కుల, మత, వర్ణ, ప్రాంత, లింగ, సంపద, విద్య వంటి విచక్షణలను ఈ హక్కు నిషేధిస్తుంది. ఈ హక్కు ప్రకారం రాజ్యాంగంలోని చట్టాలందరికీ ఒకే విధంగా వర్తిస్తాయి. స్వాతంత్ర్యపు హక్కు. భారత రాజ్యాంగం తన అధికరణలు 19, 20, 21, 22ల ద్వారా స్వాతంత్ర్యపు హక్కుని ఇస్తుంది. స్వాతంత్ర్యపు హక్కు 6 స్వేచ్ఛలకు హామీ ఇస్తుంది. వాక్ స్వాతంత్రం, భావ ప్రకటన స్వేచ్ఛ, ఆయుధాలు లేకుండా శాంతియుతంగా సమావేశమయ్యే హక్కు, సంఘాలుగా సభలుగా ఏర్పడే హక్కు, స్వేచ్ఛగా సంచరించే హక్కు, భారతదేశంలో ఎక్కడైనా నివసించడానికి, స్థిరపడడానికి హక్కు, ఏ వృత్తి అయినా ఉపాధి, వాణిజ్యం, వ్యాపారమైన చేపట్టే హక్కు. మత స్వాతంత్ర్యపు హక్కు. భారతదేశంలో పౌరులందరికీ మత స్వాతంత్ర్యపు హక్కును అధికరణలు 25, 26, 27 మరియు 28ల ప్రకారం ఇవ్వబడింది. భారత రాజ్యాంగం ప్రకారం భారతదేశంలోని అన్ని మతాలు సమానమే. ఏ మతము ఇతర మతంపై ప్రాధాన్యతను కలిగి లేదు. ప్రతి పౌరుడు తన ఇష్టానుసారాన్ని మతాన్ని అవలంబించుటకు స్వేచ్ఛ కల్పింపబడ్డాడు. రాజ్యాంగ పరిహారపు హక్కు. భారత ప్రజలు తమ ప్రాథమిక హక్కులకు ఉల్లంఘన జరిగినప్పుడు రాష్ట్రాల ఉన్నత న్యాయస్థానాలను, సర్వోన్నత న్యాయస్థానాన్ని ఆశ్రయించే హక్కు ఉంది. న్యాయస్థానాలు ప్రత్యేక ఆదేశాలు జారీ చేయడం ద్వారా ఈ హక్కులను తిరిగి అందిస్తాయి. ప్రజల ప్రాథమిక హక్కులు ఉల్లంఘించబడకుండా చూడాల్సిన బాధ్యత ప్రభుత్వానికి. సాంస్కృతిక, విద్యా సంబంధమైన హక్కు. భారతదేశం అనేక మతాలకు, భాషలకు మరియు సంస్కృతులకు నిలయం. రాజ్యాంగం వీరికి కొన్ని ప్రత్యేక హక్కులను ఇస్తుంది. అధికరణ 29 మరియు 30ల ప్రకారం మైనారిటీలకు కొన్ని హక్కులు ఇవ్వబడినవి. మైనారిటీలు అనగా మతం, భాష మరియు సాంస్కృతిక పరమైన మైనారిటీ.